Hi, and welcome back to Inside the Creator. This is a place to be for mindset, emotional wellness, and self discovery for the creator in you, here so that you can create consistently, confidently for your legacy, and of course for profit. Let's get started. Today we're talking about vision. Vision. What is the vision for your life? What is the vision for your creations and what you're trying to make and where you're trying to go? What we doing? The first thing that I want to say about vision is that your vision has requirements. Your vision requires you to think better. It requires you to do better. It requires you to be better. So, and especially if it's juicy, like if it's a really, really, really good vision, it's just going to require you to grow and to become the person who can birth a vision. And for a long time, I heard it a lot, in the Bible, those without vision will perish. And I heard it. I think I was listening, but I think the problem with that for me was envisioning a future. Like my background, especially when you come from the hood, from poverty and stuff like that, of course you fantasize about a better life and better things and having better. But a lot of the times they come off more as fantasy, right? You don't say, this is going to happen. A lot of us don't say, this is going to happen and I'm going to do this and this is, and no, it's just like, well, I guess, if something happens, that would be nice. So it's kind of like you live day to day because it's more on survival more than thriving. So it's just like, well, I'm worried about today, right? Eating today, having somewhere to lay my head today. And that was kind of my makeup. Now, again, that was running underneath my optimism and the fact that I believed in better and having better and doing better. But I think sometimes we don't realize that we can have all of this, we can say all the right things, even be in the right places, even be around the right people. But if the narratives that are playing in the background from our childhood trauma, that kind of stuff, you just don't know that it's happening. You don't know that it's happening. And it's tough to uncover if you're not aware of it. And for me, one day I sat down to write goals, and it seems like a lot of books that I read, because I read a lot of nonfiction, listen to a lot of people who talk about personal development, there's always a component of setting goals. And it's a good idea to set goals. But for me, it just was so hard. I'm like, I would do it, but I never looked at my goals as if they were like the way. I looked at them like, I wrote this stuff on this paper and, it sounds good. And if that could be something that I can achieve, that would be dope. But I would write that in a notebook and put the notebook away somewhere. So I had goals. I thought about what the vision I wanted to, what I wanted my life to look like. But I don't know if I ever bought into it. And I think it clicked for me when someone said, well, if you don't have your own plans and your own vision, you will get automatically rolled up into someone else's vision and someone else's goals. And that happens to a lot of us, and we don't even realize it until we're all already in it. And especially with people who want to create that business, want to write that book, want to create that thing, do that thing. And you start to look around and you realize that you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into someone else's $1 million vision and not your own. And for me, that kind of woke me up. I was like, wait a minute. So, number one, as humans or just nature, period, things are always flowing and moving in a specific direction. And that's why they say if you're not enrolled in your own vision, you get automatically enrolled into other people's visions, because that's just nature. That's how nature goes. You're either leading you're leading your own thing and other people are in it behind you, or you are in somebody else's, because everything has to move, right? So I kind of knew it, but I just didn't really pay attention to it, because I was like, you know what? I am working, I'm taking care of my kids, and that's it. But there was no real powerful vision for my life. And I think, so I was going through a lot of my notebooks. I have a lot of notebooks, journals, and things like that. I have so many, it is absolutely ridiculous. And I saw this about vision, and I was like, I wrote this really, really long time ago. Let me just go over to this other page, because this is what I really wanted to address. And this is a pretty long list. And it's basically, how can you tell when your vision is not powerful enough, that it's not really pulling you into the direction that you want to go into? And I think that's the part that I came to when I realized I would be part of someone else's $1 million vision, and them, whatever they were creating. And if I did not step out and kind of do my own thing, I would be kind of wrapped into their thing. I said, okay, well, let me try to figure out, what do I want? What do I want to see? Who do I want to be? And again, I could easily sit down and just write all that stuff out, and it sounded so good. And then I would just sit here and I'm like, I don't know. And that's when I realized it wasn't compelling enough. And I think it wasn't compelling enough because some of the visions and some of the goals that I decided to write down, they were kind of outdated, right? They were based on a version of me in my 20s, right? A version of me maybe even in my 30s, stuff that I had outgrown, right? And I really had to take a step back and look at my life now. I have, 2 children that are over 18. I have one more that's turning 18 next year. So I have 3 grown adult children. I don't even know how that happened. And I noticed that my children are more independent, and my life is looking, it's looking different. It's not like it was 10 years ago. So there are things that I didn't even notice was changing around me. So when I sat down to write those goals, I'm like, some of these seem like they're outdated, which is why they're not pulling me into a certain direction. And, so I want to say, I don't know, this looked like it's about 10. And it's basically, how do you know that your vision is non-existent or just not powerful enough? This is how you know. Facing the day is hard. You are a snoozy floozy. Do you know how many times I hit the snooze button on a daily basis? I'm working on this. I'm not gonna sit up here on these interwebs about to lie and say that I did it this morning, right? I got about 3. I hit it 3 times. But that's how you know that your vision is not powerful enough, because you don't even want to face your day. Facing the day is hard. I'm looking that way because I have a 9-year-old that's getting off of a school bus. I'm just trying to make sure she's okay. Hashtag mom life. The next thing is, sometimes you feel like time is running out. If you feel like time is running out, then your vision is probably not powerful enough, because your concept of time is weird. And I realized that I was like, I know that my vision is not powerful enough, because if it was, I would be working on that vision, thus not worrying about time, but worrying about or being grateful about what I get to do with my time, the time that I have. And I wasn't there. I always felt like I was in a rush. I always felt like I have to do this, I have to do that. And recently I've come to a point where when I started meditating and things like that, just to ground myself and really just be here, right? Be here, be present. And honestly, it makes me feel better when I'm creating. So all right, so the next one is you feel like you're frozen in time, right? You feel stuck. You feel like every day is the same shit, different day, same day. You're having the same day over and over and over. And it's like you're on this hamster wheel, you're in this fishbowl, and it's just like, I don't even know why I'm alive. Like, I don't even know, like, what am I, like, you know what I mean? So that's a sign that your vision is not powerful enough. What's another one? Most of your day is spent, you can't really recall what you did with your day. Like, a whole day goes by, a whole entire day goes by, and you have no idea what you even did with your time. And like, this is your life. These are the days of your lives, the minutes, the hours, the seconds, and you just don't know. You don't know. Another day gone. That's scary. Another way that you know is that you intuitively know you are out of place, right? You feel out of place everywhere you go. You feel like, I know I don't belong where I am, but I don't know where I'm going either. So like, you know you're out of place. But again, you didn't create the vision. You really didn't like take the time to think, what I want my life to look like, where do I want to go, who do I want to be, like, who do I want to grow into identity wise. So that one, you feel out of place. You blame others. Excuse me. You blame others for where you are. Like, instead of you kind of taking that responsibility for where your life is, instead of strengthening your vision and figuring things out, you are looking to your left and looking to your right to see whose fault is this, right? Like, I'm unhappy. I need to find something to make, like, what is this, right? And usually, again, that's tied to your vision for your life. Because even if someone in your world is doing something that you don't like, if you are focused on what you're doing with your one and only life, what will happen eventually is you'll outgrow them. They'll outgrow you, or you guys will figure things out and grow together. Something's going to happen, but in the meantime, in between time, you're supposed to be working on yourself and working on, your next level and what you're creating anyway, right? And that's what you should be more hyper focused on, rather than sitting in one spot and looking around trying to find whose fault is this? like whose life is this? It's yours. Yeah. So, you don't trust yourself. That's another one. That right there, kind of, yeah. That's a big one, where you just really, you've made promises to yourself. You said, I'm gonna do this, 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 and you never do those things. And now, even when, like, for me, when I sat down to create the goals, create the vision, and just say, okay, this is what I want to see, there was always this little voice like, right, just this pessimistic, just ridiculous voice that was like, right, whatever you say. And it became pervasive. But I can't say I don't know where that came from. I know where it came from. It was because I would promise myself or set goals, set these things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And to be honest, some of the things I didn't even want to do. So it was like, you're saying you want to do this and you don't even want to do it. Then you don't do it. And then you feel bad about it. And then we're back to square one where you're talking about all of this stuff that you're going to do. Things like that. So I guess what I'm saying about when you're creating your vision, really, really think about, like, is this something that I really want to do? Like, not, is it outdated? Have you outgrown it? Is it something that you're doing just because someone else is doing it? Um, does it sound good on paper, but when you go to do it, it's just, you're not emotionally invested in it at all, right? You're not passionate about it at all. It's just, well, I think this can make money, for God's sakes. I have been working in IT for 7 years, 8 years. And I went into it for the money, not because I enjoyed information technology, anything like that. And yes, it's a means to an end. It pays well. I am a 6-figure earner in corporate. But I hit the snooze button 27 times in the morning. And before I started creating content and writing my book and things like that, like things that I actually like, made me feel something, made me feel alive, I would just spend my days just, yeah. It's like, oh, but you make 6 figures. You cannot pay me enough to keep feeling like that. You cannot pay me enough to keep feeling like that. And I know if you're not making that kind of money, I understand, because when I didn't make that money, I wanted that money. And you could not tell me nothing about nothing because I was broke, right? My kids' closets was empty, right? I was on food stamps, WIC, Section 8, all the things. So you couldn't tell me nothing about 6 figures because I was going to get it. And I got it. And then I realized that money, all money ain't good money. Or some money is good money, but it's an investment into what you really want to do. And that's where I think I kind of stayed too long. I got a little comfortable, and I already knew that that's not what I wanted for my life. That is not the vision that I had for my life. I already knew that. Like, I didn't have a powerful vision, but I had something. I knew that wasn't it. And I think I stayed too long. And so yeah, I stopped trusting myself for a while there. And I was like, listen, I don't trust you. Like, you keep telling me we about to do this thing. We get excited about it, and then we don't do it. So yeah. If you believe it's too late, right? That's another thing about, if you don't have a powerful enough vision, you are buying into ageism. You're buying into, oh, I'm getting old, right? You are talking yourself out of something that you're supposed to create for the world because of your age. And I get it, but it's a lie. It's boo-boo. It's not real. It's an illusion, right? I'll tell you one thing about Satan. He will say anything to you to get you out of God's will and off of your gifts. So I'm just saying, if you thinking about it's too late, that's not God. And yeah. You believe you're not worthy. That's another one. That's another sign that your vision is just not powerful enough, that you are struggling with worthiness. I think this one is tricky because where, you come to a place where you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. And I always tell people, like, you probably are not good enough for your vision, because there's so much you have to do to to bring that about. There's so much growth as a person, as a human, as a creator that you have to do. It's not really about being good enough. And that's the lie, that we always think it's about being good. It's not about being good enough, because I'm probably not good enough for what I envision. I need to grow into that. I'm not that yet, right? I'm here making a video, right? And that's what I'm doing today, right? And, so worthiness and not being good enough, it's, once again, it's your brain keeping you from your vision. And that is not even what it's about right now. What it's about right now is honoring your gifts and doing the thing and creating the thing and sharing it with us. Okay, so the next sign that your vision is not strong enough, not giving, you're scattered. You're all over the place. One thing about your vision, it should guide you into a specific direction, right? It should be a beacon, a lighthouse. It should provide, even it's not going to be a straight path, but a way. But when you are scattered and all over the place and just everything is everywhere, you don't have a vision, right? You have fear. Because one thing about me, I notice when my office is a mess, when I got books everywhere and papers everywhere, when that stuff is going on for me, I know that I'm not connected to the vision, that I am afraid, that I'm trying to overcompensate and overlearn. And I'm a learner. Like, that's one of my strengths in the profile. I'm a learner and I'm an intellectual. So instead of me going out taking action and making a video, I will have books and papers everywhere for weeks. Like, I'm sitting in my office and it's like paper pile here, books here, all of that stuff. And I'm like, gonna make that video? I'm like, gotta study. Because I love studying. So, and that's one of the things that made me sit down and think about my vision and what I really wanted to see in my life. Because I'm like, what I'm doing is not what I want to see in my life. I don't want to see a bunch of books and papers and stuff trying to make me feel like I'm good enough, right? Or like I'm smart enough. Okay, and another thing, when your vision is not strong enough, you're not intentional or realistic. You truly don't understand what has to be done. You're just not serious. You're very, very, very unserious. And I'm gonna put my hand up because very unserious. Very. You say, I'm gonna do this thing. I want to do, like, for me, always it was, I'm gonna create this business. It's gonna be on a popping. I'm gonna help people. It's gonna be personal development. It's gonna be, I want to create products and all of this stuff. And I have done none of that. I've been saying that for 20 years, right? Like, this was in my mid-20s when I decided that that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I'm in my mid-40s. So if you are unintentional and unrealistic and you don't really have a real plan, then you don't really have a strong enough vision. Or if you do, you're not sold into it. Another one, ask for help. Once again, put my hand up. You can point at me. I don't care. Like, I'm past embarrassment now. I don't even care no more. That's what happens when you're in 40s. I don't even care. I don't ask for help. I just recently in my life, in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, asked for help. I was not that girl. I was always the girl that I'll figure it out myself. I was always very hyper independent because my dad left. My dad was one of those dads, he was in the streets. My mom was working, right? Latchkey kid. Like, we Me and my siblings, we got ourselves up for school, got dressed, went to school, checked our own homework. It was just very, and after a certain age, my mom was like, listen, y'all not babies no more. I'm not doing that anymore. And so I always was hyper independent. I always was trying to take care of myself. So I believed back then that even, up until my 30s, like that me asking for help made me a burden on someone else. Like that's how I viewed asking for help. And not that I didn't think I deserved help. I just, when I have a problem, my first thing is how can I fix this, or how can I figure this out? I know that some people, they have a problem. They like, let me see who I can ask. I'm not the let me see who I can ask kind of girl, right? Like I'm like, okay, let me figure this out, right? And I'm still like that to a point. I'm just realizing that I do not have all the answers, because remember I told you, I'm a learner, I'm an intellectual, according to my strengths finders, my Clifton strengths. And it's true. Like I love reading, right? Like anything I have to do, I research it. Like people ask me things like I know because they know that I'm gonna go find out. Like I'm Google, right? In my world, I'm good. And so I always have to tell people, you need to go ask Google, because I don't know. I don't know everything. Like I don't know what they think, but yeah. So ask for help. If you're not asking for help, if you're not relying on other people to help you through certain things, whether it be for your project, if you need an assistant, or if you need something for your mental emotional wellness like a therapist, or you need to ask for help from your spouse or from your children around the house so that you can get things done, you need to ask for help. And if you are not, again, tied into your vision and understand, and going back to, again, truly understanding what your vision entails, you have to know that you can't do it by yourself. And I'm not even saying that all crazy to you, because I'm like talking to myself right now. And I don't know how I feel about that. But we can move to the next one. Another thing is you believe that wanting something is enough. Like, I have this vision and I want this, and that. And me wanting that should be enough for me to do the thing. And usually that's not, right? I have vision boards with things that I still haven't seen come to pass, because there are certain things that I need to do just as a creator. Look, as a growing as a woman, there are certain things that I know. Like I know people talk about manifestation. I believe in manifesting. But one thing about manifesting truly is the actions that you take kind of brings on, right, certain things happening in your life. And I'm like, certain things have not happened because, again, let's talk about intention, right? So wanting it is not enough. Just having it as a desire, right? Your desires are not enough. Again, let's go back to, you have to truly know what it actually takes and start to get on that path and do what you can to see it through to completion. And again, if you're tied to your vision and it's strong for you, and it's you're, what's the word? You are invested in it. That's the word I'm looking for. You are truly invested in your vision. Then you understand that wanting is not enough. And you're willing to put in the work to see it through. Another one is you start something, a lot of some things, but you don't commit, right? You don't commit, you don't finish it, and then you move on to the next thing. You're always starting something new. And if you find yourself in that place, stop asking yourself, like, well, what was the vision? Like, what was the outcome that I was trying to achieve? Like, what was the picture? What was I trying to see for me as a person? What was I trying to see for this project? What was this project gonna be? Why did it need to be in the first place? And that kind of helps you to, again, tie to that vision. So if you're starting this and starting that, and then you're going over here, then you're starting this over here, and you're starting to, the vision is not strong enough. The vision is not strong enough, or the vision is not understood enough. You don't understand your own vision, because why do you have 18 different plates spinning and believe that this gonna work? This next thing is gonna pop off. It's not. It's not. And again, I'm talking to me. I mean, if this is you too, like, but I've been doing that for years. One day I'll make a video on things that I created, and why I created them. One of them is really, really nasty, and one of them is cute. But I can't even tell you why I created them. I be needing to make stuff. I need to make stuff, and I made stuff, and I thought I was gonna pursue it, and I don't think I gave it the light of day, and I think that's probably what I want to talk about in those videos. Anyway, let's back, but I digress. And the last one I have here, what does it say? Oh, we're gonna finish with this one. You know what's right. You know what's the next right move, but you don't take it. Every time you create the vision, you're like, this is what I want to see. This is what I need to do. This is who I need to be. Okay. You know exactly what you should do next, and you just don't do it. Once again, I always know what to do. If someone asks me, the first thing that will fall out of my face is that, and that was a lie. Yo, that's a lie. I always know what I need to do next. I just get caught up in mindset stuff and emotional stuff, and I convince myself that I need to go do more research. Excuse me. I left my water in the kitchen, and it's not helping me right now that I have no water. But yeah, you know what's right and you don't do it. So that's that may prove that your vision is just not powerful enough, or you're not connected to it. You don't know the vision. You're not. And I think for a long time, I had some kind of vision about something. I was like, I want to do this thing. And I think that is what I want to leave you with, as far as all of the things that I mentioned. If you notice those things happening in your life, your vision is probably not strong enough, probably not clear enough, probably not, you don't know it enough. You're not connected to it. It's just like, it's like somebody else's vision, right? Like, it's not yours. And I think that's going to be our homework, right? We are going to clarify the vision, right? We're going to clarify the vision. We are going to make the vision juicy and luscious and just ridiculous, scandalous, controversial. Because if it's not scandalous and controversial, then it's not a real vision anyway. Like, for real. Like, if nobody gonna look at you and be like, girl, then it's not good enough. It gotta be like good but bad. Like, bad girl, but good. You know, you get it, because I gotta go. I want to thank you for rocking with me. Please like, subscribe, share with somebody that, another creator. Please comment and tell me about your challenges as a creator. And this is probably my, I don't know, sixth video. And I don't know, I'm having fun. Thank you so much, and peace.